Alright, who let Katakuri out of his cage? Because this is Red Purple Luffy versus Katakuri. This is actually the finals of my OP07.5 adventure at my locals here. We were able to play in this little format here in between a Red Purple Law and Stage Band and OP08. So no Law to worry about, not whatsoever. That means Red Purple Luffy's coming out to play. Opponent here. As soon as we sat down, he's like, I know how to play against your deck. I'm just going to swing high, right? And then, once you're down to 0, I'm going to start doing something else. We ended up getting the, I think we lost the dice roll here and ended up being forced to go second. Though now, after playing this a few games, I definitely kind of prefer going second here, as typically you're going to get to your 9 Dawn turn on your 4th turn going second, whereas on your 1st turn, you have to ramp at least once to get to 9 Dawn on your 4th turn. With Luffy's ability. So instead, we're gonna prefer to do it this way. We play the Bond Clay, gonna swing 7k lead. Opponent's just gonna counter out of it and go to their turn here. Opponent's just gonna keep pressuring with 7ks because that's what Katakuri is best at. Gonna look at my life here, maybe decide that card is pretty fancy, pretty fancy smancy, and gonna stick it on the bottom of my life here. 7k at my lead here. I don't have a 2k. I do have a 2k. It's called Sanji, but I think I want to save Sanji, especially in a situation where my opponent just keeps slapping me. Right, I need some blockers, so we're just gonna go ahead and use 2 cards from hand. We've already ramped. We're already pretty happy with what we're doing. Opponent's just gonna play out a Kiku Nojo here, and gonna pass back to me. I'm going to 7 Dawn turn. This is that turn I would love to play my Eustace Captain Kid, right, which allows me to go up to 7k pretty much every turn. Unfortunately, we missed it here. We're going to go ahead and likely just play out the Sanji here. We're going to play out a Nami first. Try to look for some action, maybe some 2Ks. Something cool going on here. We ended up finding 3 2Ks. We're gonna pick the prettiest card, right? That's what you do when you to a searcher. You pick the prettiest cards. We're going to grab the 2K Sanji Altar. Slap that in my hand rester here, my hand holder, something like that. Show it to my opponent to make sure he knows what I grabbed and knows what it does. And then we're going to go ahead and copy Kiku Nojo. We're just going to send 6k at lead. I'm just going to keep sending 6ks for days, 6ks and 7ks. I need to get Katakuri down so low, and opponent's kind of respecting that and countering out of that hit there. We're going to play out the Sanji here to basically say, hey, you can't stack everything on lead because I'm just going to block. You can't get me down to 0 unless, I have some say in it. Got another Sanji in hand still. I played out the fancy Sanji, because obviously, why not play out fancy cards? But also because my opponent saw the fancy Sanji. If I played out the other Sanji, my opponent would have had the information knowing I had the fancy Sanji in hand. So there was a benefit to also doing that. If not, it's just being pretty. Opponent's gonna spend 8k at lead. I'm gonna go ahead and gum using the Diablo Jambe just to pitch to keep myself up to 9k, and then opponent's gonna swing another 9k here. And I'm like thinking, is it worth blocking or just taking it? I'm going to take that one. That one more is free, but I'm not going to let you set me down to 0 so easily here. And we're going to go up to our 9 Dawn turn because we did ramp 1 going second here. Find another Sanji, another fancy Sanji, and go up to 9. And we're going to use Luffy's ability to take ourselves up to 10. We have the 9 beard to play, which is pretty nice. Going to take myself up to an 8k leader and then also be an 8k on my opponent's turn. I'm just going to keep using this Bond Clay to swing 6ks until he flips an Onami. And he did not. He ended up flipping a Beige. Beige is going to stop the lead from attacking here. Okay, that's fine. It is what it is. Opponent's at 3 life. I'm just going to play out the new gate, of course. Got to play out the new gate. Always. 8k lead. Too good. Unfortunately, I don't get to express myself and attack with that 8k lead. Right? Show him what it really feels like to be an 8k leader. Instead, he's going to learn what it feels like for me to be an 8k leader on his turn when he realizes I'm an 8k leader. And he's going to have to attach some Dawn to potentially threaten me here. I think 2 Dawn immediately is just going to go on to Katakuri here. Opponent separating out his Dawn. He is at 9 Dawn. So no Big Mom that we have to worry about yet here. But I do have to be cognizant about a Big Mom next turn, which is just going to trash my life. So I am kind of incentivized to just take a potential hit. We're just going to, this 9k at lead, we'll just give him a 2k. And then he's going to use the other to go 10k at lead here. And yes, I could give him 2 cards from my hand, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to take the life, because if he just Big Bombs me next turn anyways, that life's going away. So I might as well have it as a resource in hand. And then we're going to pass to my opponent here. I am a little fearful, right? A little fearful of these wacky swings, especially with the Big Bomb potentially coming down here. That Bond Clay gets a lot of value, though, if he does play without the Big Bomb, because Bond Clay's just hanging out and just going to copy Big Bomb's attack. And then we're going to have a 12k Bond Clay. getting in there. So we're just gonna keep doing 6Ks. We're just gonna keep pressuring hand. Bottom clay's actually come in pretty clutch here, just allowing me to copy Kikunojo every single turn, which has been pretty great. No 7 bomb from my opponent, so unfortunately couldn't get an 8K. We're gonna go ahead and send 10K. He's gonna play out a card I've literally never seen before. I think it's from like the Big Mom starter deck. It basically just gives plus 5K. That's all it does for 2. And it has a trigger. So he's going to go up to 10 and go up to 11 off that effect. You can see me literally lean in. I'm like, what the heck does that card even say? Because like, what? But it's a sneaky little tech. We're going to go ahead and play out. We're going to play out a queen here. Queen's going to come in minus me a Don and then draw me 2. So we're just going to try to set up a little bit while also pressuring leader, as we're just expecting big threats to come down, especially based on what my opponent does the next turn. And then we have to discard a card. We're just going to discard the Zorojuro. And then we've got a little bit more Don to work with. We're just going to go ahead and go 7 lead here, just hoping for no silly triggers to happen at this point. I did denote that I made a little bit of a misplay, right? I should have a swung with lead first before playing the queen, right? Because if you flipped an Onami, that queen would have been gone. So a little slight sequencing error that luckily I didn't get punished for, but it's definitely something you need to look out for when you play against yellow decks, right? Onami's a threat, and especially coming in the future here, I think Anel's going to be running like Onamis and like Egghead Namis, which are like 2 ways for them to KO 5 costs off life, which is like a little nuts. So you definitely gotta be careful out there, right? Opponent is not attaching Don. All right, 10 Don, not attaching Don. To me, that says Big Mom. It says Big Mom all day long. We're gonna go ahead and block that easy 5K. Then opponent's going to go ahead and swing in a Bon Clay again. The fact that they're swinging in a Bon Clay gives me literally enough information to know that that Bon Clay is the problem, right? They're going to play a Big Mom, or they're going to play something big in general. We're going to go ahead and block with Queen, and we're going to make sure we sync this right. We're going to go ahead and use Baccarat first to 2K, and then 2K Queen, and then block with Queen, so Queen's an 8K for that battle. And then opponent here, I guess, pivoting, realizing that I didn't let him have the Bon Clay. He's going to instead play a Katakuri, which, a Katakuri is still an 8K, right? So Bon Clay is going to be swinging for 8 this next turn, and we know Kikunojo's on top of life, taking my opponent up to 3 life. So, like, we're not afraid of the first trigger. If he adds it to hand, it's no counter. If he adds it to board, I'm not going to kill it. So, like, yeah, I don't really care. It was just a way for him to stave off. He is only at 3 cards in hand. He does have 2 Don up, right? We've seen that weird random starter deck event. We could see that weird random starter deck event again. So we're going to swing 8K at lead, copying Katakuri. Opponent's just going to take it. This time we're going to go 9. We're going to go 10K at lead. Opponent's just going to take it. Okay. All right. Well, we do have 10 Don and Gear 5 Luffy in hand, so it sounds like maybe that's the strategy. We're going to spend 6K again, and he's just going to take it. And he's going to Beige my leader. All right. He Beiged my leader. That's fine. It's Gear 5 time. Gear 5 is going to bottom deck my board, bottom deck my minus 10 Don. And we're going to use Luffy's effect, get it on. Luffy's effect again. The other Luffy's effect again, it on. And then we're going to go to my extra turn here. We've got 4 Don to work with. We could use Luffy's effect to go up to 5. I always like to do that typically for the sake of consistency, so I don't forget the pattern, just in case I can't kill. But we're going to activate effect. Give myself up to 4 active Don. We're going to go 10 lead. Opponent is just going to die. Opponent had a Big Mom in hand. I was predicting a Big Mom in hand. An opponent did, in fact, have a Big Mom in hand. Ended up pivoting into the Katakuri that last turn there, as I did not allow them to take care of the Bon Clay. Bon Clay was going to be a huge throw at the Big Mom. And because I sensed a Big Mom on the horizon, taking that life means I'm not trashing anything. So we're feeling good. We're feeling good. And we ended up taking out the locals here. We ended up winning the finals and going 4-0 with red-purple Luffy during the OP07.5 meta. I am going to be brewing a deck list for OP08, so if you like this type of content, subscribe. Slap that subscribe button, or whatever you do to subscribe buttons these days, and make sure you like the video. Thanks everyone for watching, and have a good one.